Hello, I'm Ruth, and welcome back to This Is How We Roll. This episode is called Mental Health, so I'll be going over different ways to manage mental health related issues that may come up in relation to a condition. I would like to say that there is going to be a warning section in this video, and that it will be a warning on discussion of emotionally sensitive material. Because I haven't had very many warning segments in my series yet, I'm going to explain how they work again. If there is going to be a warning segment in the video, I will always mention it at the beginning of the video, with limited information as to what the discussion is going to be about, such as discussion of emotionally sensitive material, discussion of sexual topic, or discussion of intimate care. The actual warning segment of the video will not come until the end. When I'm about to go into the sensitive material, you will see an image that says warning and the reason for the warning. I will also state that we are going into the sensitive part of the video. These warnings are not meant to set an age limit. They're just meant to say listener's discretion advised. I want to start off by giving some clarification that depression is not a symptom of my condition, high cone CP. However, that does not mean that I and others with conditions do not experience depressive bouts caused by different symptoms of the condition. A person without a condition may wonder why an individual who has a condition may experience depressive bouts. There is a lot of reasons why. A lot of the times it's attributed to pain involved in the condition. Sometimes it can be related to extreme frustration over trying and failing at the same thing more times than the person thought they were going to have to before mastering the skills. I can't really bring any others to mind right now. I'm sure there are others, but those are just the ones that affect me most commonly. So when it comes to stopping negative emotions or depressive bouts, one of the best things you can do is recognize that you are starting to have dark feelings. So I want to talk about ways of recognizing when you may be entering a depressive bout. Learning how to recognize this is a very helpful tool in minimizing the duration and the severity of your negative feelings. This is because when you notice that something is starting to go wrong with your emotions, you can often take action to stop it in its infancy before it grows into a big deal. I'm going to go over some ways to help you do this. You may experience all or just some of the things I mentioned in the list. So, ways to recognize the onset of a depressive bout. Negative self-talk, easily becoming agitated or emotional, noticing yourself start to pay attention to the things that you cannot do, feeling that you are not good enough, blaming yourself for your condition, questioning why you don't just give up, or sleeplessness. Now that you have recognized that you are starting to have negative emotions, what do? Well, there are hundreds of things that you can do. What I recommend most is engaging in stress-relieving activities, such as listening to relaxing music, taking a nap, doing breathing exercises, and using essential oils, to list a few. What I really like about essential oils and breathing exercises in particular are that they don't take very long to use, so that you can do them while you're working. Something else that is really good is engaging with your hobbies. There are some more specific strategies for managing emotions that I want to go over. First of all, seeing the other side of it. What I mean by this is trying to see through the situation that you are in and knowing that things will get better. For example, I do go through a lot of times where I can't practically use any of my body because I'm so tense. And it's very painful. But I get through it by knowing that I've been in this situation before and I'm going to get better. Accepting. This is simply accepting that there are parts of your condition that you cannot control. For example, I have a nerve issue that causes extreme spasticity. I know situations in which this is likely to occur. However, sometimes it just happens out of the blue. So I have learned to accept that if it's going to happen, it's just going to happen, and there's nothing I can do about it. So there's no point in living in fear of it taking place, and there's no point in trying to avoid situations where I think it is likely to occur, because it may occur no matter what I do. Time out. This is understanding that sometimes you need to take a break, and that's okay. It has taken me many years to realize it's okay to need a break. I just have always led with the mindset that I'm going to fight through my condition, and I'm not going to let it change anything about my life. In a lot of ways, this is still my mindset, but I have had to adapt it to allow myself to understand that sometimes the best way to stop my condition affecting my life is to tend to it the way it needs to be tended to. That way I don't end up making an issue bigger than it would have been. Reaching out. It's always okay to reach out to a friend, family member, or caregiver that you are particularly bonded with and tell them that you are having negative emotions. Sometimes all you need to do is talk to someone about what's going on in order to feel better. Things to avoid. There are 2 things in particular that I want to tell you to avoid. First of all, there is what I like to call the definitive can't mindset. This is using thinking in phrases like, I can't do this, or I can't do it. This is something that you really have to try to avoid because it begs the question of can't do what. It's perfectly okay to use phrases like I can't do this right now or I can't do it today because that goes back to timeouts and recognizing that sometimes you need to take a break. But simply saying something like I can't do it or I can't do this discourages you from believing that you can handle future tasks at hand. Secondly, there is what I like to call the victim mind state. This is when you start asking yourself questions such as, why me, or why did this have to happen to me? The answer is just luck of the draw. You can't question why you have a condition because anyone could have either been born with a condition or have had something happen in their life which causes them to have a condition or disability. We are now going to be heading into the warning segment of this episode. Today's warning is for emotionally sensitive material. If you are feeling suicidal, it is imperative that you tell someone. That can be anyone that you feel close to. It can be a family member, friend, or assistant that you trust deeply. If you do not have anyone you feel you can turn to, call the suicide prevention line. As you can see on the screen, I have the number for the National Suicide Prevention Line. The number is 800-273-8255. I live in the United States of America, but I'm sure that each country has a similar number you can call. As important as it is to tell someone if you are feeling suicidal, it's equally as important to make sure that you don't say you feel suicidal unless you 100% do. What I mean by this is not just that you're feeling very sad or very dark, but that you actually have had thoughts such as, I don't want to be alive anymore, or I'm going to kill myself. If you are feeling particularly depressed, it's important to say that too, but say exactly that you are feeling particularly depressed. Do not say the word suicidal unless you actually feel that way. Thank you. That's all for this episode. Until next time, we're all different, so just roll with it.